Hello everyone and welcome back. In this tutorial we are going to build the HTML for rendering our code component. So before we build our HTML, let's initialize few of the elements. So I'm going to copy them in. So I have created an HTML element of type container and notes type. I don't need a button, so that's not needed. I then create an HTML element of type new card and HTML div element. Now that I have created the HTML, the next step would be to go ahead and initialize the context and the variable in the init method. Now that it has been initialized, the next step would be to go ahead and have the note container and then the notes header. And finally, I will append the notes header to the notes container. Then I'll try to create the notes element and I'll append the notes element with the notes. And then finally, I will append the notes container with the container itself. Now this is good. However, we need to go ahead and loop and then render it. So we need to go ahead and create an async method out here, which will be private render annotations. To that, I want to go ahead and have the files, which is of type annotations and then a container. Finally, I will go ahead and use a for each loop and loop through the files with reference to the length. This will be a new container that I'm going to create card and I'll say const file. So let me copy in some code first and then I'll try to explain it. Okay. So here I'm going ahead and creating a div element named as card, and then to this card I'm recursively going ahead and adding inner HTML with the subject and the file name. Okay, I'm just picking up the subject and the file name. However, annotations goes ahead and returns me much more. So I'm using the file name and the subject only. I can also give it a description, etc., etc. So this is good. Next, what I want to do is I want to call this method whenever the component has been initialized. So again, I'm going to copy a few lines of code and this will be an async await. So I need to go ahead and say async. Because this method is async, now it cannot return a void, and this looks good. So as this is async, I need to return it a promise of type void, and I think this looks good to me. So this is how our component will render the notes and the annotations, right? So this was a bit complex, to be very honest, and you might want to review the code. So I'm going to leave the code in the description section below. So next, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and build this component. So I'll go back to terminal and I'll say new terminal and I'll run npm run build. So this should build my component. So it tells me the CSS was not found. So let me go back and maybe I should just remove this line as of now. I'll save it, try to build it again. I did not add CSS. That's why the error is getting in. So this time it'll build successfully. So I'm going to create a new folder named as solutions inside here. And I'm going to run the pack command to package the solution. So I need to cd. Perfect. So I have cd'd and run the command. Finally, I will add the reference. So this has successfully created a reference in my dataverse. Finally, I will go ahead and build the solution. So I'm going to use the Visual Studio command prompt, cd, get into the solutions folder, and then try to run the ms build command. Perfect. So the zip has been created. It's known as solution.zip. So in the next demo, we are going to upload the solution. And if everything works as expected, we should be able to fetch the notes and the attachments. If not, you're going to see real life debugging.